Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we have a truly fascinating explainer lined up for you. We are going on a journey that connects the seemingly distinct worlds of clinical biology, the power of belief, auditory neuroscience, and the very real, concrete mechanics of financial success. We're going to build a comprehensive framework of what I like to call the internal engine. We'll see exactly how your mindset sets the stage for your biology and how your daily habits generate actual tangible wealth.
Okay, let's dive into this by challenging a pretty fundamental assumption we all have about medicine. Think about it. When we feel sick, we pop a pill, and we fully expect that chemical compound to do all the heavy lifting, right? But what if the most powerful treatment is actually the belief you hold while swallowing it? What if the human mind is secretly steering the whole ship of our physical reality?
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The power of mindsets. 2. Components of the treatment effect. 3. Side hacking the brain. 4. The science of binaural beats. 5. The compounding power of consistency. And finally, 6. Aligning mind, body, and wealth.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the power of mindsets and how belief actually shapes our biology.
It turns out, modern medicine is proving something pretty incredible. For decades, clinical trials tried to just subtract the placebo effect, basically treating it like an annoying statistical glitch. But recent research out of Stanford University frames it entirely differently. It's not just an anomaly, it is a profound, measurable neurobiological reality. When you hold an expectation or a mindset about a treatment, your brain literally recruits the involvement of disease-specific biological and neurotransmitter systems. We're talking about things like your immune system and your endogenous opioid system. Your conscious and subconscious mindsets are actively driving your biological healing.
Moving right along to Section 2, Components of the Treatment Effect. We're decoding the healing response here.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about and how it fits into daily medicine. Stanford research shows us that the total treatment effect is actually stacked. At the very top, sure, you have the pharmacological drug effect, but underneath that, holding the whole thing up, are your biological mechanisms, your psychological processes, and your social context. Things like the warmth and competence of your doctor, or even your cultural beliefs about healing, directly inform your expectations. And then, those expectations trigger biological mechanisms which stack right alongside the drug itself to actually make you better. You are literally co-authoring your own medical outcomes.
Which brings us to Section 3, Sound. Can we hack the brain? We're looking at spiritual frequencies versus digital drugs.
So we've got two completely different schools of thought on this. On one side, we have the metaphysical claims surrounding specific solfeggio tones like the 888 Hz frequency. You'll often hear this called the infinity code, and proponents believe it clears out emotional blocks and reprograms the subconscious mind to attract abundance and manifest wealth. On the flip side, we have the hard, clinical science of binaural beats, which are often referred to in the scientific literature as digital drugs. This is basically an auditory illusion created when two slightly different frequencies are played in each ear, which prompts the brain to synchronize its electrical activity to the difference between them. Now, we aren't here to endorse one side over the other, but rather to just impartially observe how humans are using sound, both spiritually and scientifically, to try and rewrite their internal subconscious blueprints.
Let's move to Section 4 and see how this builds. The science of binaural beats, mapping brainwaves to clinical evidence.
Our brains naturally follow rhythmic patterns depending on whatever state of consciousness we're in. A recent literature review in the Open Public Health Journal breaks this down beautifully for us. At the lowest frequencies, we have delta waves, which are associated with deep, restorative sleep. Move up a bit to theta, and you're in the realm of memory and dreaming. Alpha waves sit right in that sweet spot of calm, relaxed alertness. And then at the higher frequencies, beta and gamma, we see active thinking, deep concentration, heavy information processing, and cognitive flexibility. By listening to binaural beats targeted at these specific ranges, the theory, which is known as brainwave entrainment, suggests we can literally force our brains into these highly productive or restorative states on command.
But does it actually work? Well, the clinical literature is, honestly, it's a mixed bag. On the positive side, some studies do show that beta-frequency binaural beats can significantly enhance long-term and working memory. Others show they can successfully reduce anxiety before medical procedures and even lengthen stage 3 deep sleep when using delta frequencies. However, to give you the full objective picture, I have to point out the inconsistencies. Massive studies with over 1,000 participants have shown absolutely no cognitive changes whatsoever, and some trials even indicated negative impacts, like decreased verbal memory when using certain theta frequencies. So while they definitely show amazing promise as accessible digital drugs, individual clinical responses vary wildly.
All right, on to Section 5, the compounding power of consistency. This is where we turn mindset into tangible results. So we've talked a lot about reprogramming the internal engine, right? Using belief in audio to sync up our brainwaves. But how do we actually translate that into the external world? Financial expert George B. Thompson hits the nail on the head here. He says, think of consistency as the compounding interest of your habits. It's absolutely crucial to realize that the exact same persistence required to rewrite a neuropathway in your brain is the exact same persistence required to build actual tangible wealth. In a world completely obsessed with instant gratification, slow, steady progress is really the only mathematical guarantee of success.
So the crucial point is how we build that consistency day in and day out. Thompson outlines 4 incredibly simple, actionable habits for us. Number 1, pay yourself first by routing money straight to your savings before you even look at your bills. Number 2, automate your finances so you don't have to rely on daily willpower. Number 3, stick to a budget so your spending actually aligns with your life goals. And number 4, regularly review your finances so you can adjust your course along the way. These are not dramatic, overnight life overhauls. They're just small, intentional, daily decisions that compound over time into massive, long-term momentum. You don't need perfect timing for this. You just need to start. Let's bring it all together in Section 6, aligning mind, body, and wealth, the triad of transformation.
This is the master framework right here, the whole shebang. First, your mind sets the stage. Just as the placebo effect proves that your belief physically alters your immune system, your fundamental mindset dictates your reality. Second, your senses provide the tools. Whether you lean toward the spiritual 888 Hz frequency or the clinical science of beta and gamma binaural beats, you can use your environment to hack your focus and clear out that mental static. But listen, none of that matters without the third pillar, action. Persistent, automated financial habits are the compounding force that takes your optimized brain state and turns it into real-world wealth.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. We've seen the data today. We know that your expectations quite literally rewrite your neurobiology. We know that daily, small habits mathematically compound into massive financial freedom. You have the tools to engineer your own internal engine. So if your mindset shapes your biology and your consistency shapes your wealth, what are you going to choose to focus on today? Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks the curiosity you need to take that very first step.